Hi, my name is Ross Pitcoff of Ross Pitcoff Law. We help business owners resolve complex disputes between partners, shareholders, and third parties. We also provide corporate transactional and general counsel services for our clients. Today, I'd like to speak to you about a very specific portion of the New York limited liability company law. So if you are involved in an LLC as a member or a manager, today is going to be a video that's going to be relevant to you. When you go into business with partners, you'll often either operate under a limited liability company or a corporation. Today, since we're talking about limited liability companies, if you have an ownership in that company, you are either going to be a majority member or a minority member, and the person that runs the company would be considered the managing member. Now, as a minority member especially of a business, when things are going well, everything's great. You're getting along with your partners. You're participating meaningfully in the company. You're seeing distributions and proceeds and growing the business. But sometimes business partnerships don't always work out. And in those scenarios, there are times when suddenly you don't have access to the books of the business. You're unaware of what's going on with the company. You haven't received K-1s or know anything about tax returns. Sometimes you're completely locked out of the business and don't know what's taking place. In those scenarios, under the New York Limited Liability Company Law, Section 1102, you have the right to demand an inspection of the books and records of the company. Number 3, the company is required to maintain a copy of the company's articles of organization, along with any amendments that were submitted to the state of New York. And as you should know, or as you may not know, a copy of the articles of organization is essentially the filing papers that start the company. Number 4, the company is required to maintain the company's operating agreement, as well as any changes or amendments thereto. And finally, number 5, the company is required to maintain the last 3 years' worth of tax returns on behalf of the business. Section 1102B also gives a member the right to inspect other documentation of the company, and the law specifically states that if the request is reasonable and seeks reasonable documentation, sometimes considered to be bank statements, etc., you can demand access to that information as well. Now, 1102C does provide some pushback on behalf of the company and the managing member, such that if the member that's seeking documentation tries to get access to information that would be considered proprietary, trade secrets, or is subject to confidentiality, the company can reject the member's request to inspect those documents. Now, once you've identified the specific documents that you're looking to obtain, the next step is to send a demand to the company outlining the specific documents and the specific records and the time periods for those documents that you'd like to receive. You also should provide a reason and justification for why you want access to those documents, such as company mismanagement, and also require that the company provide you with access in a period not earlier than 5 days from the date that you send your request. In the modern era, you can also review those documents via electronic means such as email or via Dropbox. Now, if the company is still denying your rights and you still don't have access to those books and records despite the fact that you set forth a demand that you're entitled to them, your next step is going to be to file a petition to seek and gain access to the very books and records that were denied to you. As part of that petition to gain access to records, you can also seek an accounting, which requires that the company unpack financial data and information to show truly what's actually taking place within the business. To summarize today, we discussed what the rights of minority members and members generally of limited liability companies are. We discussed the New York Limited Liability Company Law and how it can assist a member, especially a minority member, who has been frozen out or locked out of their business. We discussed the types of documents and records that you're entitled to as a member of a limited liability company, and then we discussed the specific mechanisms that you can implement if you want to receive those documents. We talked about setting forth an out-of-court demands, indicating that you're entitled to inspection of records, setting forth the records you wish to seek, providing justification for why you wish to seek them, and then also indicated the fact that you want to review the records within a specific period of time. We then discussed what can be done if that demand doesn't work, that you can file a petition to gain access to those books and records, and you can also seek an accounting, which will evaluate the financial health of the company. If you're a member of a limited liability company, or even a shareholder of a corporation, and you feel that your rights have been violated, contact our law firm today, and somebody in our staff will listen to your issue and see how we can assist you to ensure that your rights will no longer be violated.